vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. More kirtan. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. You want me to do more kirtan? No, as in which I was saying. Thank you everyone for your kind participation. So today we're reading from this wonderful scripture called Bhagavad Gita. If any of you don't know what it looks like this. There's different printings, but we're reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Before we begin, we'll just recite some prayers. So please do repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Your turn. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from chapter 10, text 18. Does anyone know how many chapters there are in the Bhagavad Gita? Anyone know? Sorry? 18, yeah, correct. Well done. Some people tell me there's 19 or 20, but you got it right. Well done. So we're reading chapter 10, so we're maybe a little bit past halfway. And we're reading text 18. Does anyone know how many texts there are in chapter 10? Huh? 104. No, unfortunately, that is incorrect. Closer than 114. Not quite. There's actually 42 verses in chapter 10. In total, Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. So we'll be reading from the 18th verse of the 10th chapter. So I'll recite or attempt to recite the Sanskrit, and we encourage if you can also attempt to repeat. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vibhutim cha janardana. Vibhutim cha janardana. Bhuya kataya triptirhi. Bhuya kataya triptirhi. Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vibhutim cha janardana. Bhuya kathaya triptirhi. Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vibhutim cha janardana. Bhuya kataya triptirhi. Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Would any brave soul like to attempt? I see some fingers pointing. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vibhutim cha janardana. Bhuya kataya triptirhi. Shrinvato nasti me mritam. Vistarenatmano yogam. Vibhutim cha janardana. Bhuya kataya triptirhi. Shinvato nasti me mritam. Thank you very much. We will now proceed to read the translation and purport that has been given by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. The more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Purport. A similar statement was made to Suta Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka. That statement is, Vayam tu na vitriptyama uttama shloka vikrame yashinvatam rasajnanam svadu svadu pade pade. One can never be satiated even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 19. Thus Arjun is interested in hearing about Krishna, and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar, is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar, and this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate to the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh, despite repeated readings. So before we begin discussing this verse, I would like to take this opportunity to recite some Mangalacharan prayers. Don't worry, it's nothing suspicious, it's just to invoke auspiciousness. If you know the prayers, you can join in along with me. If not, we can just hear. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की श्री श्री गौर निताय की. Okay, so I guess we can begin discussing this verse. So here Arjuna is making a request to Krishna. First of all, just to get a bit of an idea, how many of you here have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita? Just raise your hands. So a fair few of you. Okay, keep your hands up if you've read the Bhagavad Gita. Even some of it, even a page. Okay. Keep your hands up if you've completed the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. We have one scholar in the room. Maybe you can help me if I get stuck. So, just to kind of like set the scene. I don't think I'll be able to set the whole scene because then we won't have time for much else. But here, Arjuna is requesting Krishna to demonstrate some of his opulences. And in the later verses we will see how Krishna describes many of his opulences, and then he goes on to say, actually my opulences are unlimited. And even when he agrees to, as will be described in the coming verses, to Arjuna's proposal, he says, yes, I can show you, but I can only show you some because they're unlimited. But here the amazing thing is that Arjuna is not tired of hearing about Krishna. And an example is given of Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya. So this example is from a Vedic literature known as the Srimad Bhagavatam. Put your hands up if you've heard of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so some of you have heard. So for those of you who haven't heard of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is like Krishna talking to his devotee about God himself. Krishna is God. But Srimad Bhagavatam is two devotees of Krishna talking about Krishna. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami, it's a conversation between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya. And the sages say that, keep speaking, we really like it, we relish it, we don't want you to stop, we can keep going on and on. And this is fascinating because normally, how long can you read a newspaper? Like 5, 10 minutes, half an hour maybe. How long can you go? But these saintly personalities were going on. Does anyone know how long they were going on for? That's, the sacrifice they were performing was intended to be 1,000 years. But the actual narration, the conversation that took place lasted 7 days. And so Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya were relaying a conversation that took place between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. And this conversation took place over 7 days. Now, it's fascinating that over those 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj didn't even go for a water break. He fasted the whole time. He didn't even take a break. Like, if I'm like doing something, I need to get water every half an hour. Like, at least speaking for myself, I don't have that concentration or attention span or even that kind of relish in whatever I'm reading, actually. But here we see that Parikshit Maharaj was so engrossed in what was being discussed. He was so enlivened by the discussion. He was so attracted by what was being discussed that he could keep on hearing more and more about it. And why was it so attractive? Because the topic of discussion was Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And actually, Krishna means all attractive. And therefore, whenever his name, fame, pastime and glories are spoken, heard and sung, then it brings about a great revolution within the heart of the misdirected civilization. And therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse, Shrinvatam sakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana ridyantasto hyabhadrani vidunoti suritstam. By giving oral reception, by hearing about Krishna, by hearing the talks of Krishna, honest men who are thoroughly purified derive great satisfaction and bliss. Yes, and their hearts are completely purified. And therefore, this narration, this conversation, this hearing and chanting of the Lord has great potency. This is what the Vedic scriptures are telling us. But now one may question that, okay, they're telling us this, but how do I know? Because we hear many things from many different places. So many people will try to give us advice and guidance. Sometimes we get advice and guidance when we don't ask for it. And we get like 1,000,001 opinions. And then we're in perpetual confusion about which opinion is most relevant or relatable. So like now you may question, okay, so you're just another fellow telling us another thing among the many 101 opinions I have in my life. And then question is, do I need another opinion to add to the confusion? So here, how do we know that this is actually the case? Or I'm just like talking whatever. You can conduct an experiment because this is a scientific movement. You can conduct an experiment at home, and the best thing is this experiment is free. You don't even have to pay for it. No test tubes, no liquids, no sodium, nothing. Potassium or whatever the chemicals you want to mix, it's completely free of charge. And what is that experiment? Yeah, I heard someone say chanting. Yeah, it's that. You got it. I think you've already done the experiment. I think you're successful, that's why you're excited. So this experiment is chanting of the holy name. And chanting of the holy name falls under the broader category of chanting and hearing about the Supreme Lord, which is the topic of discussion of this verse. So now, when we chant the holy name of the Lord, we are addressing the Lord. And the chanting of the holy name means that we are repeating one mantra again and again. And that mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now, my claim, as per the Vedic literature, is that by chanting this holy name, one does not tire. I think Prabhupada even mentions, one will not tire one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. And therefore, the natural corollary of the statement here is that one will not tire of chanting Hare Krishna. So now, the experiment you can conduct is, what is the difference of chanting Hare Krishna and chanting something else? So you can do this at home. Chant something random like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or something. Do that for like 15-20 minutes and notice how at the end of the 15-20 minutes there's still no Coca-Cola on your tongue. But if you chant Hare Krishna, just see the effect. Just see the effect. And like with anything, in science, for a experiment to be valid, the experiment must be repeatable and reliable, in the sense that if you do it once and you get a result, it could be a one-off. So you got to do it again, just to make sure that, yeah, I got the real thing, because there could be like some other kind of influences or things that affect the conclusion or the result of the experiment. And therefore, to properly conduct this experiment, one should give it at least a period of time of chanting Hare Krishna. One should do so every day. Even if you do like, say, 10 minutes or something. 10 minutes is not a long time. Or is it a long time? Maybe we'll ask you actually. Put your hands up if you think 10 minutes is a long time. Put your hands up if you think 10 minutes is a short time. Okay, most of you think it's a short time. And put your hands up if you think it's not short nor long, it's just somewhere in the middle. Okay, you think some people think it's in the middle. Okay, so for those of you who think it's a short time, yeah, you can chant Hare Krishna, no problem. It's a short time. Not much of your life will be spent. So you can make that experiment. The beauty of chanting Hare Krishna is further elucidated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says in his Shikshashtakam prayers, Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. And what this means is, you know, like when we're making a decision in life, we have the good guy on our right shoulder, or if we're left-handed, we have him on our left shoulder, and on the other shoulder, we have the bad guy. And like when we're on a sugar diet and we see a cake, the good guy's like, look, chill out. You're already full. You've already had a lot of sugar today. You don't need to have the extra 16th slice. And the bad guy on the shoulder's like, yo, but it was good. It was really good. It was tasty. And my friend made it. I can't disrespect him like that. I have to take the slice. So we have a good guy and a bad guy. And therefore, in making a decision, our mind becomes completely perplexed and surrenders unto various influences that we may feel are beyond our control. And what this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra does is that it gives clarity to the mind to be able to understand what is going on around us, to understand our real position, and in such a way give us the strength and clarity to make the right decisions. And therefore the example is given of a mirror. So if any of you have the experience of going into a storage cupboard that's been locked away for 15 years and there's a mirror there, you'll notice that the mirror has accumulated a lot of dust. I don't have practical experience, but it logically makes sense, so that's why I'm saying. And if the mirror has a lot of dust, you can't really see yourself. And if you can't see yourself, then I don't know if I've combed my hair the right way or not. That is also not practical experience because I don't have much hair. So we're not able to properly understand ourselves. But this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is like cleaning that mirror. And when we clean that mirror, then I can see that, yes, my fade is actually very nice. We can see our true position. we can understand. And when we're able to understand ourselves for who we really are, then we are able to make better decisions. Because our identity is not so simple actually. We have various levels of identities. One identity that we very much identify with is this gross body. This body is made of veins, blood, bones, nerves, and many other things. I didn't really study much biology, but I think you get the idea. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhume rapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha hankaritiyam me binna prakritirashtad. These 8 separated material energies, they are my energies. And this is material nature. And therefore our body is made of this matter. Right? Now, the next layer of identity is the subtle body. In the verse I just mentioned, 5 items that were quoted were earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are gross material elements. The 3 elements that are then mentioned by Krishna are the subtle elements, and they are mind, intelligence, and false ego. These things are that which you cannot see, touch, but they definitely exist. Like, you may tell me, I don't see your intelligence, therefore you have no intelligence. That is not necessarily true. In my case it's true, but it may not always be true. But that's because we can't see it, but nonetheless it's there. It's subtle. And the deepest layer of our identity is the spirit soul. And that spirit soul is described as Ajo, Nitya, Shashvato, Yam Purano, unborn, eternal, primeval, ever existing, no hanyate, hanyamane, sharire. That when this body expires, terminates, goes down 6 foot, this soul still remains, it still exists. And therefore, death is not a threat to existence, but it's rather just the change of where you're existing. And so the Bhagavad Gita describes that because we have these different layers of identity, we have different influences. For example, my body may say one thing and my mind may say the other thing. So who do I listen to? So there is actually a natural hierarchy, and that is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani paranyahur, indriyebhyo param mana, manasastu para buddhir, yo buddhe paratastu saha. That this material body is greater than dull matter. The senses are greater than dull matter. Greater than the senses is the mind. Greater than the mind is the intelligence. And greater than the intelligence is the soul. And therefore, the proper flow of action should be that the soul dictates the intelligence dictates the mind, and the mind dictates the senses. But currently what we experience is that the senses dictate everything. And therefore we're in a little bit of a pickle when it comes to making decisions, and we end up having the 16th slice of the cake even though we know we shouldn't. And therefore this chanting of Hare Krishna is so incredibly powerful that by cleansing the mirror of the mind we can understand our position. And therefore this chanting clears the mirror of the mind. So we have 8 minutes. Maybe at this point I'll ask if anyone has any comments or questions. Otherwise we can continue further. Yes? Do we need to chant or do we get recite in our mind? Yeah, good question. For those who didn't quite catch that, can we do we have to chant out loud, or can we just chant in our mind? Prahlad Maharaj mentions 9 principles of devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaram Padasevanam Anjanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. First 3 are very important. Shravanam means hearing. Kirtanam means chanting. So naturally when we chant and when we hear, then we will remember. So if I talk about cake and you listen about cake, then naturally, what will you think of? Cake, right? You're not going to think about fruit unless it's a fruit cake. But whatever we chant and whatever we hear, naturally that's what enters our mind. But at the present moment, to focus our mind is very difficult. Like, if I, at least for me, if I want to focus on one thing, my mind will go everywhere but that one thing that I actually want to focus on. And so the mind is very fickle. And this is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Chanchala himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. That controlling the mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. Like, has anyone tried to control the wind? Like, how would you even even if you were to try to do that, how would you go about controlling the wind? Like, grab it? Like, how? Would you get like a balloon, or like how would you do it? It's difficult. It's not possible, one could argue. But then Krishna in the next verse reassures Arjuna that it is possible and can be done by suitable practice and detachment. But my point is that the mind is very fickle. It can go from here to there very, very quickly. And therefore, in chanting in the mind, it is very easy to become distracted. It's very easy for the mind to wander. It's very easy to lose track. And therefore, when we chant audibly, then we are not only helping ourselves remain focused, but also we are engaging in a powerful principle. And that principle is the utilization of senses. Devotional service is described as, or defined by, or quoted rather in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. He says, Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatrena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. We should use our senses in the service of the Lord. And therefore, when we chant audibly, we are engaging our sense of speech and our ears. And therefore, by that engagement of senses, we are purifying ourselves. And therefore, it's encouraged that we chant audibly. Yeah, so I hope that answers the question. Anything else? If not, maybe I can say something more on the holy name. We have 4 minutes till Gaura Arti. Rupa Goswami mentions in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. And he says, oh, I forgot what he says. Mind is so fickle, you know. Okay, I forgot what he said. There are 6 characteristics. First is that it mitigates all miseries. The second is Shubhada, bestows all auspiciousness. The third is it is very rarely achieved. Fourth is that it belittles liberation. Fifth is that that one derives intense bliss. Sixth is that it even has the potency to attract Krishna. So the one I wanted to discuss is it diminishes all misery. And therefore this chanting of the holy name, which is one of the foremost practices of devotional service, has such potency that all our miseries will go away. And that is incredibly powerful, because who wants to be sad? Put your hands up if you want to be happy in life. And if your hands aren't up, it's probably just because your shoulder's tired. Hare Krishna Maharaj. And so devotional service mitigates all miseries. That does not mean that there will be no problems in life. But what it means is that your problems will no longer be seen as problems. And therefore, our vision, way of looking at things, and our perspective will change. So I think we'll conclude here. And would like to thank you for your kind participation. And please do stick around for Gaurarti. We'll be singing this wonderful song that has been written by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, and the curtains will open soon. And so, yeah, please do stick around for Gaurarti. After Gaurarti, there will be some Mahaprasadam being served in the reception. So yes, please do hang around, and look forward to seeing you at Bhaktivedanta Manor again sometime soon. Hare Krishna. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai.
श्री 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 राधा गोकुलानंद की जय। श्री 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 सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। खिबा जय जय गौरचंदे आरती का शोभा जय आरती का शोभा। खिबा जय जय गौरचंदे आरती का शोभा। जानवी तातावाने जगा मनलोबा। जानवी तातावाने जगा मनलोबा। ताकी निताशान बामे गदादारा। राकी निताशान बामे गदादारा। नीकाते अद्वैतासीनी वासा छत्रधारा। Nikate Advaita Srini Vasa Shatradara Gosi Ache Gorachan Ratna Simhasane Bosi Ashe Gorachan Ratna Simhasane Arati Korene Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Korene Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamara Dulaya Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamara Dulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosadigaya Shanka baje ganta baje baje karatala Shanka baje ganta baje baje karatala Madhura mrudanga baje paramarasala Madhura mrudanga baje paramarasala Shankha baje घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बाहु कोटि चंद्रजीने वादना उज्ज्वला बाहु कोटि चंद्रजीने वादना उज्ज्वला गाला देशे बानामाला खोरे जलमाला गाला देशे बानामाला खोरे जलमाला शिवा सुकनारदा प्रेमे गादा गादा शिवा सुकनारदा प्रेमे गादा गादा बाकाती विनोदा देके गोरार संपादा बाकाती विनोदा देके गोरार संपादा शिवा जय जय गौर चंदे आरती का शोभा Janamana Luba Gaurangera Rutika Shobha Jaga Janamana Luba Jaga Janamana Luba Jaga Janamana Luba Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadra Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadra Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadra Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.